Absolutely. Yeah. It's disheartening. It's deflating. I had so much self-doubt about myself. I just thought, again, like women breaking into sport, it's just never going to happen for me. I really made a great connection with, and I'll say this person's name, Maddie Fox. Maddie Fox just changed my whole life in the sense of being in sports, because that was the one person that gave me the most honest feedback in all of my interviews, like post-interviews. Gave me all my honest feedback, but as well made me try different things. Really saw something in me that was like going to be a benefit to me in landing my Summer Sevens coordinator role.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Grad Podcast, the ultimate guide to make it in the sports industry. I'm your host, Nathan Peroni, and on this podcast, I chat with people in the industry and find out how they got hired into dream jobs in sport. If you want to know what people are doing to break in and grow their career, make sure to follow the pod and subscribe to our newsletter for even more advice. Or if you want to give yourself a competitive advantage in the job market and put your career on a rapid new trajectory, go to our website and apply for the next cohort of the Sports Grad Method program. Here at Sports Grad, we've helped people land 845 jobs in sport, with today's shout out to Ashley Waite, who recently landed a role at Port Adelaide Footy Club working as a player development manager. Congrats, Ashley, an exciting role, and enjoy the remainder of the season working with the Power. Now, coming up on the show today is Steph di Julio, HR and Recruitment Executive at Melbourne Football Club. Steph's career in sport started in community department with early exposure as an intern at Geelong Football Club, followed by a lengthy stint where she grew at Football Victoria across several roles before making the leap into the world of HR at Melbourne Football Club. Steph plays an important role at the club to support the business and its people to create an environment where employees can perform at their best through responsibilities like recruitment, training, policy development, performance reviews, and more. We love talking about how to get a job in sport, and today you can hear straight from the source of HR with Steph working in HR at an AFL club. So grab a pen and enjoy this chat with Steph.
Hey guys, Ruben Williams here, founder of SportsGrad. We'll be back to the episode in just a second, but I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about the SportsGrad Method program, which has been helping people land jobs at major sporting bodies in as little as 14 days and doesn't require you to take out a massive debt to get started. If you are looking to make a jump into the sports industry, but nothing seems to be working for you right now, then why not apply for the SportsGrad Method program? Inside, you'll get given a proven playbook and a one-on-one industry mentor, as well as access to the SportsGrad network, plus much, much more, all of which have helped people land over 800 roles in sport. If you're ready to back yourself and fully go after your career and not let life get away from you and wonder, what if I'd only given that a shot? Then you're the kind of person who we'd love to work with. So head to sportsgrad.com.au/program and you can apply to join us.
Steph di Julio, welcome to the Sports Grad Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. We first met now, it must have been like 2 years ago, I reckon, at a Deakin Sports Society panel. And then the Small World of Sport, good colleague of mine back at Western, good friend of yours and colleague at Football Victoria, Steph Lee and Dees. Shout out to Steph. There's another great connection of both of ours in industry. It's great to have you on. Thank you. Look forward to hearing more about all your time at the Dees, how you come through in HR. How has the season gone so far with Demons?
We're very happy. I think Kingy coming in, he's just really changed everything for us, or changed our game structure and everything. And he's really brought on so much knowledge that he had from the Cats and being, over at Gold Coast and being at St Kilda as well. He's had so much knowledge around that, but he's just been excellent, and he's just a really good guy. He's just, you have those people, and he's just one of those people. He's a really good person. Which speaks to volumes as to who he is, as well. That comes from the players as well. So, no, it's been great, the first, especially the win over the weekend. So we were super excited about that coming in on Monday. But yeah, it was a great one.
Bit of a 2-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When this comes out, I think we're probably 3 or 4 rounds left into the season, or 3 or 4 rounds more into the season. Sorry.
Yep.
So hopefully it's still a few more wins at that point.
Yeah.
Accreditation-wise, speaking of the Dees, what have you got for us today?
I have got my accreditation that was from 2025.
Nice.
Again, can give you access to both AFL and AFLW games as well. So everybody on a game day must have this and always wear it. And then each one of these little boxes that are on the accreditation, there are ones that provide you the amount of access that you get to have.
Yeah.
So, I'll leave that one with you.
Perfect. Looks great. Now, you may know, I know you're a little bit aware of the show and Sports Grad. Start the questions off with some quick fires to get to know you a bit better and set the foundation for the chat. So, firstly, what inspired you to work in sport?
Yeah, so a good one, and I always like getting this question because it really makes you reflect back on like how and when. So I guess as a young little girl, I was always in love with the kind of like what sport provided. I started my little journey as a dancer, and then when I was 13, I then changed over to soccer. But I think it was just more about the fact that it really brought people together, like that realization. And I remember watching the 2006 Socceroos qualifier and just the absolute
Did
insane.
you go?
No, I didn't go, but
okay.
I did watch it. But it was just like insane scenes that I was just seeing on the TV, like, you know, people just hugging each other. You know what?
Yeah.
It was a day where it was like no one actually mattered, like, and it was just everyone embracing each other. And it was such a like an eye-opener for me, and I absolutely loved that about it.
Yeah.
Plus, there was some heavy conversations over at dinner time. Lots of hot topics about sports at the dinner table, which was always fun to have. And then I guess the other thing that really inspired me was my uncle. Like, my uncle, he worked, actually, funnily enough, he worked at the Dees in his kind of first sporting role. So he was like a membership salesperson. And then he kind of just grew from there and really like expanded his like sporting organizations, like jumping from like football to like soccer. So I think with that, I was really inspired by what he got to have and all the opportunities that he got to have in terms of like events and stuff. So I guess that was really like inspiring for me because I'm like, I just want to do what he does. So yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love the story. First ever job and first ever sport related job?
My first ever job was in retail. I was 14 and 9 months. As soon as I was 14 and 9 months, I got a retail job and I was working in children's clothing, funnily enough. And my sports related job was a volunteer role. So that was at Football Victoria. And that kind of just was like game day operations and then kind of like overseeing some small-sided games. But it wasn't too strenuous. All they asked me to do was put up some like posters and like tick people off their names when they came in on game days. And then again, kind of like those marquee matches where Football Australia would hold all these huge marquee matches. I'd go out there and like jump in and do all the small-sided games that you'd see at halftime break. So those were my kind of two, that what I was doing.
Did you have an experience with I saw you had something at the Cats, like really early doors.
Yeah.
Well?
I was like an intern. I did community relations.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what sparked more of my energy and focus into community and participation because I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, growing up as a young girl, I was just always like, I would want to be exposed to so much sports. So I think, being in that community space really sparked up my interest in terms of wanting to ensure that everybody had access to sports in some capacity. So, that was what's drawn my attention on
like
there.
it.
Yeah.
After high school, extra studies, what did you get up to?
Yeah, so funny one. I actually studied PE teaching from prep to 12.
Okay.
So I was adamant on being a teacher. I got into my third year of teaching and then I was like, I had 4 years on that course.
Yeah.
Got into my last year and I was like, I actually don't want to do this anymore. So
you got so far down the track.
Yeah, so far down that track. And prior to that, I had done heaps of placements before that. So in obviously teaching. But I think for me, I always knew that I loved sports. So I wanted to carry that into my teaching. But then I was offered an opportunity, not offered, but like I saw these opportunities for sports management and more of that business focus. And that's what really intrigued me the most. So I jumped into that in my sports management degree. And then post that, I also studied my HR management course as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it was those
a bit full on, yeah.
Yeah, it was those first 4 years. I was like, I love teaching, but I don't really love teaching. So
did you find any of those, I guess, units or studies become transferable?
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is quite topical for you in your role. So next one is, what's one interview question you were asked to answer for a job you're in or one that you like to ask people you hire?
Yeah, so the one that always gets me every time was, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Now that hit home. I remember getting
being asked this question.
Yeah, I was being asked that question. So I remember being asked this question and I was absolutely rattled, because you're going into interviews and you're trying to put your best foot forward and you're trying to be like, I can do this, I can do that. But when I was like struck with that like question, I kind of like froze there for a little bit and I was like, oh my God, like, don't they just want to see the best in me?
Yeah.
But again, I think reflecting back on it, it was more about showing my vulnerability, like, and just ensuring that there is an emotion side to me, and the side that I can show that my failures don't mean that I'm necessarily not good.
Yep.
It's just about rising above it. So I think that's what they were looking for in that particular space that they were asking me. So I think, yeah, the vulnerability piece was really great. And it's, you know what, sometimes I even ask that question. Like,
I was going to say, do you think there's a scale of like, this is a mistake that's going to not get you the job, and this is a mistake that's what they want to hear, and like how you problem solve through it, or you recovered, I guess?
Exactly. It is about that like problem solving and how you can rise above it.
Yeah.
Because there's always metrics put in place for you to like really kind of work on those areas of development. So I guess that's what they were trying to find with me, and they were trying to see, okay, like, she can do this, she can do that, like, what's the other side of it? Like, what's going to happen if she can't do it? So that's where that piece there really struck with me. And I was very quite young when that person asked me that question. And I was
Is this at FV? Or?
This was at FV, yeah. So it kind of like took me back a little bit. So, but the one question I do love asking applicants or candidates that come through to me is, what's a value that really resonates with you? And I ask it to everybody because I'm a person that's a bit of a deep thinker. I really like to understand how people work and how those values can really transfer into the role that they're going to bring. I think it's really important to ask that, and making sure that your values really aligns with the organisation that you've applied for. So I think that's a really great one. And yeah, I think that's my main one that I ask all the time. So if ever you're listening on podcast students, like, know that I'll be asking about values.
I think it's a good one to probably look out for anywhere, I think.
Yes,
and you probably need to be strong with, this is what I stand for, and this is what. And again, if you don't agree on those values, then it's probably something that's not going to work. Or if you do, then it's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Podcast. A book or podcast recommendation that's helped your career.
Yeah, so I was actually given a book when I first started at the Dees. There was a HR manager there that she was on a maternity leave cover, and part of her going away, she wanted to give me a gift. And so she gave me this book. It was Breanne Brown, Dare to Lead. And that book there, I'm not a book person, but I was like, you know what, this could actually have some great values. So I went through it, I'd read through it, and again, it was that vulnerability piece and how you're willing to really encourage that, because some leaders have no vulnerability whatsoever. They like to have a strong front. Yeah. But it is like really taking that leadership vulnerability piece and then ensuring that you take it on with courage. And I found that book really has helped me become a leader that I am today, because I'm an emotional person, I'm a deep thinker, and I really love to lead with all of that too. So yeah. And then I guess the podcast section, it would have to be Sports Grad, because I do frequently listen here and there. So and I think it's because everyone's got their own experiences, and I absolutely love hearing how people got to where they were. I think it's a really great piece, and there's expertise that are coming through to these channels, so it's not like it's all made up. These are coming from experts who's been in the field.
For sure. Thanks for the
it.
plug. If you could try another job in sport for a day, what would it be?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of the World Surfing League. So I would absolutely love it.
It's a bit niche. I don't hear many people say that.
I know. So it's a very left of field one. So World Surfing League, I would, it's just the conditions that they have to go out in, these athletes. Like a couple of years ago, Mick Fanning, those that know anything about surfing, he's punching on with the shark in the water while he's competing. So that to me is insane. And I would just love to be in that role in terms of like an operational perspective or like an event perspective, how they determine like what's happening with the weather, and like it's just crazy what they are able to do. Plus traveling the world, which is always nice.
There was one at Bells recently. Did you go down?
Yes, I actually didn't go down. It's actually coming up. So always
it's coming up. Okay.
they always do it over the Easter long weekend.
Yeah.
So that's again, I love. I'm actually going away, so that's why I'm not going. But normally I'd go every year. Just a little special place there as well. But I think another one that I would love to be in is the Formula One, and I know that's probably a little bit, because Draft as a 5 has always been out now. Everyone's on Netflix watching it.
Yeah.
And again, that only sparked up my interest because of Netflix. So well done to them. But yeah, being in the pit wall, like I would love to be sitting there making those like quick split-second decisions, and like being put under pressure is insane. Like I just don't think anyone really understands what they go through and making those like strategic calls. So I think just being in amongst that is epic.
That would be cool. We had Chris Grant from the Grand Prix on last week, and he was saying how he was on the track before formation lap and then walking away when then Oscar crashed.
How devastating for Oscar.
Yeah, but some awesome experiences that those guys get at the Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I want to take you back to the start journey. You mentioned retail sales and sort of lay the foundations of where you start and become relatable to many people listening. So what was the value for you in the years working in retail sales, becoming assistant store manager, and how it all transferred across to working in sport?
Yeah, great question. I think when I first started, I guess with retail, it's funny because everyone bypasses retail. I think they
like as in looking on a resume, you mean?
Yeah, I think they bypass retail a lot.
Yeah, right.
I think retail offers so much because retail obviously gives you communication skills. It gives you like your problem solving, customer disputes. Like you're at the front face of a brand, and I think it's such an important thing to have those skills. So communication is key. Again, problem solving, customer disputes, and I also think there's a leadership piece in that as well. So from where I was in my position, I went up to that assistant store manager.
Yeah.
I was mentoring a team. I was trading teams. I was kind of effectively communicating with all of our national bodies. So I think in itself that all those skills are easily transferable to any role that you kind of apply yourself for. So and I guess from there it really went on to like my role at Football Victoria. So
because you're doing both at the same time, right?
I was, yes. I was doing so with Football Victoria. Again, it was more that volunteer role that I was doing, but then I actually, funnily enough, I applied for a Summer Sevens coordinator position. So a very casual role. It was kind of like obviously, as it is, Summer Sevens, it was a very seasonal job. So from like October through to December, I would be out on most nights, going to venues, setting up the actual venue for the event. And, people would come, they would play soccer, 7-a-side in the summertime.
Yeah.
And then from there onwards, I would like pack up everything. And then I'd get surveys and feedbacks each night to say if they were happy with how everything went. So, again, very transferable skills that you can bring to any role being in retail. But I guess, I learned a lot in retail, and that's really helped me with even like building relationships with people, because you get those regular customers coming in.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
It's like you really form that relationship, and with that they buy more stuff, which is always good, and it helps my KPIs. So I guess retail is definitely one thing that, again, some recruiters bypass that, but I see it's such a value in having.
You mentioned Football Victoria. How does that initial role come about through the volunteer? Like, where do you find the volunteer role? And then I know over the course of what is nearly 7 years, you go through 4 different roles: part times, full times.
Yeah. So that volunteer role, I guess, came about because, again, I was just my uncle. He was at the Dees, and actually, funnily enough, he went to Football Victoria as well. So he kind of just dragged me along to some things that I wanted to go to. But that actually built upon years of relationships that I had with people as well. So I started off as a Summer Sevens coordinator, and then from there, again, very seasonal role. After that season had finished, which we usually finish up in around March time, so from October through to March. During that period, post the second kind of rounds of being at Summer Sevens, I was approached by the managers or the event coordinators. And they kind of just asked, what's your take? Like, where do you want to go? And I was very like, I don't really know, but I do know. So that's when they said, how about we would love to give you an opportunity to, oversee the casual pool that are coming through, and just really coordinating with all the coordinators, helping us with onboarding them. So I got a glimpse into what that would look like. So that's when I became the senior Summer Sevens coordinator. So yeah, a great opportunity there. And then from there, again, very seasonal work, but I was actually preparing and helping set up the programs throughout the year, but obviously in October time for it to roll out. And that particular program, Summer Sevens, it was actually funded by Big Health. So I would have to provide reporting metrics. I'd have to do a lot of surveys to all of our participants that had joined. So there was a lot of reporting going in the background because we had to meet these certain metrics with Big Health. But yeah, I guess from that, I just really grew into that role, and then those managers started to provide me further opportunities to get involved in different areas of participation, because that's where it kind of fell into. And then, I guess I was there for quite a bit of time, just in that casual capacity. And it wasn't until a role came up as a MiniRoos Development Officer. So,
which for context is like Auskick.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much, So it's an Auskick. So the MiniRoos program would really cater from ages from 4 to 11. And again, it was just trying to get children to play football as much as possible, soccer in everyone else's terms. And I was actually fortunate enough to get that position just through my work that I had done with Summer Sevens and being a
so you had runs on the board,
So again, I was in that role for about 3 years, 3 or 4 years. 4 years. 4 years. And then I guess that's when another opportunity came about for being an administrative coordinator at the club. So, club, I can say club, and then, just being an administrative coordinator there, and really working with my HR manager, working with my legal and discipline team, as well as being an administrative assistant to my executive leadership team. So my role kind of expanded a little bit, very different to what I was really doing. But then I kind of ended in that area of administrative support person.
And had you done the HR studies at that point?
No, not at all. So I had a HR...
Because it sounds like you're doing a bit of everything, helping a lot of people, but not really specialising in one.
No. So, with that, again, very everywhere in that process. But then I really... Again, my manager, the HR manager at the time, she kind of really tapped me on the shoulder, and that was when this administrative role came up. She was just what do you want to do with your career? And I was like, I don't really know. I really like what I'm doing in the participation area. And I think she just identified within me that, HR, legal, and being an administrative support person for my ELT team was a path that I should go down. And that's where I kind of ended up going. My manager was very supportive of that because, I was just, at the time, my manager was very supportive of that. So I guess, that took me into new and bigger things, saw things from different angles of life. And
And how does someone doing that then get into HR at Melbourne Footy Club?
So that would have been, COVID really hit us. So in when was COVID? 2020?
2020, 21?
Yeah, 2020. So my HR manager had left. So because I had held the function of HR in my portfolio, that's where I actually became the person that all general inquiries came to. So I actually became that HR person. And with that,
so there's only one person in HR and you were assisting? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I became that absolute point of contact for all HR. I had to do recruitment, and I had to learn this all on the job.
Which sometimes is the best thing.
Absolutely. Being thrown in the deep end, absolutely. Just do it all. And I absolutely, I feel as though if I didn't have that, if my HR manager didn't leave at the time, I could have had a different pathway for sure. But I think with that being thrown in the deep end, I'd learned so much. And through that, I wanted to learn more. So that's where I actually applied to my HR management course.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I really just, again, expanded my knowledge on everything, kind of worked out policies. I kind of worked out, employee relations. I worked across all different aspects in that course, and I really brought all of that into Football Victoria. And again, it was just a really great experience for me to actually undergo, which is, I do thank that HR manager. She's one of a kind. And actually, I still get support from her, like, still to this day as well. Yeah. So we keep a really close relationship, which is really important to have.
Did you get a tap on the shoulder, or you just applied for this role at Melbourne?
At Melbourne, it got to a point where I was at Football Victoria for about 7 years, and I was like, I think I need something different. So when I was just kind of like throwing my application out there for like HR roles, I remember doing it one night on a Tuesday night, and then on a Thursday morning I got a phone call, and they just said to me, we'd really love to meet you. On that same day, Carlton also called me, and they were like, we'd really love to meet you as well. I went in for both rounds, for the first rounds, and then I went into second rounds for both roles too. And then it was kind of like, who do I decide? Because they both were like, we want you to come to the club. And I was like, okay, I'm really in a really great position here. So
that's a cool little backstory.
Yeah. So that's when I think for me, Melbourne was just like, I think the first choice for me. Yeah. Again, I just really aligned with my values, what I wanted to do with my career and who was in the position at the time. So yeah, again, Melbourne just really made that like available to me, and that's where I've been ever since.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. What is a typical day or week? I know a day, again, it's so wrong. Like, I think it's more like what's a week, what's a month. Look like in your current role. And I guess, is there seasonal aspects to HR or not really?
Yeah. So, it's actually a wide mix of things. So, on a day-to-day basis, it can look like anything from recruiting or onboarding, just like general inquiries from staff members, any training and development that they're wanting to do, having like those discussions, just having like those meetings as well. So with meetings that you'd normally have with all your team. And I think from that on a monthly basis, it's looking at performance managing. It's looking at reviews of our policies. It's looking at any compliance with the AFL that I need to do. Because there's a lot to it. I feel like everyone thinks HR just there to put in a rule and that's it. But there's a lot that goes behind the scenes when we do everything. And there is a meaning behind everything that we do, I promise. So
one of the questions I was going to ask you, what are some common misconceptions?
There is a meaning, yes. I guess my role and again, it's more about building connections as well. So making sure that there's a safe place for everyone to come to at work. The morale is up. The culture is great. There's a lot that, again, we go and do above beyond for everybody. Yeah. And that's the way I operate as well. So I wear my heart on my sleeve and I give everyone my full range, and everyone respects that as well. So I think if there's a level of respect and boundaries in place, then you're really great. You get a really great mix.
I was going to say I feel like a challenge would always be in HR, like where do you find that balance of being friendly and like wanting to have great relationships with everyone, but then there's also that fine line that you have to tread, that if something needs to be put into place or you come down on something, you got to do that.
Yeah.
Is that one of the biggest challenges?
Absolutely. And I place a great emphasis on like creating really great connections with people. Yeah. And sometimes, I've got to put my HR hat on sometimes and be like, look, this is what we need from you, or this is a policy that's coming out that everyone needs to acknowledge. So there is a serious part towards me, but there's also a part where I love building connections. Like that's my absolute core strength that I bring, is just being a people person. But there is times where I've got to be hard on people, and I've had to develop those skills in having those difficult conversations. It's not easy to have them, but I ensure that I leave a conversation with somebody knowing that we're on the same page. Yeah. Because I think that's really important as well. So, and I think people respect that. Like, if I can have an honest and open conversation with them, they feel as though they can definitely come to me with anything else that's like concerning them or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Performance-wise, like how do you get measured as someone in HR?
It's all about engagement. So culture and engagement, that's what we kind of like base ourselves on. So it could be like a survey. So at the end of the year, we would write a survey to see how everyone is tracking, if they're happy. And each individual person is anonymous within their actual submissions that they send through. And we're measured on that. So
Yeah.
we as an organisation and a part of AFL, we have to have like a 90% like overall culture and engagement that's got to be high. So we've got to meet those metrics, and if not, then we kind of have those discussions around it. As an internal team, we work on like how we can improve that and what are the things what's the gap that we're missing out on that we could really elevate this and ensure that staff are really embracing where they're working. So I think that's a key part of it. And I think for me, most importantly, is about retention of staff. So I look at staff and I see them, I'm looking at the longevity. So when I hire someone, I'm like, how is this person going to progress in our company? What are they going to offer? How can we provide them additional training and development? What's the performance management plan we want to put in place for them? So I'm about longevity as well. So I want to see someone coming in here really performing their role and going on to like bigger and better things if they ever wanted to move on from us. But I do look at retention of staff. I don't want to see someone here for like 6 months and they're like, nah, I don't want to come back. So that's one of my key metrics as well in my or one of my key KPIs of mine that I have to really stand for as well. So
good insight.
Yeah.
What are some of the initiatives, I suppose, that the Dees are doing to help improve that workplace culture, retention rates?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in terms of like retention rates, it's always about providing opportunities. So within the club, so that could be anything from like training and development. The AFL do really great programs in terms of how we can instill like types of training courses for staff. And we rely on like the AFL to like hold those types of programs.
Yeah.
So we nominate some staff members who we think are great people. So we'll nominate them and then they'll go into that AFL program. But again, training and development is a key thing that really gets people talking, and they really want to do that. But also in terms of like morale, like we place a great emphasis on like connections. So we always, I'm sure you're aware, our club is a unique position where we're the only club that don't have a house. Or like a place we're all housed under one roof.
I was going to ask you that. How do you manage from a HR perspective? You've got Casey Fields, MCG, Amy Park,
and Amy Park,
Gosh's Paddock.
Yeah. So again, we are in a unique situation where we have to try and make a connection piece like relatively evident within everything that we do. So that could be like club functions after each game that we play over the weekend, or it could be around, everyone going over to Casey. So business side, jumping over to Casey, ensuring that football and business are connected that way.
Yeah, okay.
And then we run like fun other little initiatives throughout the year. So there's a great little thing that we do in October where it's like precinct games. So everywhere.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's very competitive. And I must say, like, I'm not biased, but like the people at the Dees are very, very competitive, and they're actually really
I've heard
good
the same
at
from
sports.
friends at Collingwood. Yeah.
Oh no, Collingwood don't like us, I don't think, because we always play against Collingwood. But
for context, so the games are between like everyone that's in and around Amy Park and John Cain and Rod Laver.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So we could be versing anyone from like Tennis Australia, Cricket Australia. Tennis Australia and Cricket Australia always do very well, and I'm always very judgy on that because I'm like, they've got a lot of international.
Maybe they ask that in interviews. Are you good at being an athlete for the games?
Yeah. But a lot of morale comes from just being in and around the office as well. So I think we always place little like competitions within our departments. I know we kind of do every Friday or Thursday or Friday, we kind of get together. We say like who's going to kick the first goal over the weekend, who's going to do this. So we do little bits of competition, but also reward and recognition. That's a huge part as well. So any type of staff meeting that we have, we'll always like call out people that are doing really great in the office. We even give them like, vouchers for them to utilize. So we do try and make sure that everyone is involved as much as possible, but also spotlighting those who are really working, above and beyond and really living our values of excellence as well. So I guess that's, again, there's a lot's happening. And I say that.
Before we finish on the Dees, how many people are we talking in HR? And then how many people are we talking across the company that you're all working with?
So there's myself, so HR and Recruitment Executive. Then we have our business partner. So our business partner, she works closely with all our managers. And then we have our Chief of People. So Yes, our chief of people, she pretty much oversees anything from a strategic point of view, club direction, and again, everyone kind of that's our escalation point as well. If anything needs to get raised with our chief of people, but again, my team is very small, and we each have our own individual kind of areas that we work on.
Yeah.
But again, we've got the same goals and outcomes when we do it. Yeah.
Very nice. When I talk HR insights for people, again, it's very topical. We help people get jobs in sport. So I think some of these questions would be quite interesting for people to hear.
Yeah.
So firstly, tell us about the realities of the hiring process and maybe some things we don't know or things that...
Yeah. I guess from the hiring process, look, you're always looking to hire and put someone in a role within like 4 to 6 weeks. And I feel as though people think that it's like going to happen within a week or 2 weeks, but that's just not the reality. So 4 to 6 weeks is usually our recruitment timeline that we work with.
Yeah.
And I think with that too, we always, this is my core function that I work on. So it's all about the oversupply of applicants that come through. And sometimes people are not tailoring their applications to the role they're applying for. So they'll see a job at Melbourne and they'll just apply for it thinking that they'll get something, but unfortunately it's not the case because I look through every single application. So as long as you're tailoring your application to the role that you're specifically wanting to work in, that's what's kind of a standout for me. And I always love seeing people, I love cover letters. I feel as though it's very old century, but cover letters make such a huge difference because it actually showcases like who you are as a person. It could show your side of it shows a different side of you, but it also gives us an indicator of like, okay, this person's done this person, that skill can be really transferable in this role. And always just finishing off with like thank you so much for reviewing my application. Yeah. So I think that's always a little nice thing to have in your cover letter. And also just the realities, gosh, there's so much. But I know it's so unfair, but it's always down to like we have a long list and then we've got a short list and then I've got to cut it back down to 3 people or like 4 people maximum in the recruitment process.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most difficult part. And
does every role look different in terms of how many going from like a phone screen into, or I suppose firstly the full list into a phone screen into the next stage, or is they all very much like a 20 into 10, for example?
Yeah. So normally, we start off with our long list. Our long list would be about 15 people.
Yep.
And then our short list gets to about like, I don't know, we say 8 people. Mm-hmm. And then from those 8 people, I will give them a phone screen, sorry. Again, just kind of getting a vibe. I want to check their vibe. I want to see and because sometimes you look at a resume and you don't get the whole picture.
Yeah.
And I love asking questions and getting to know people. So I feel as though once I make a connection with someone on a phone screen, it's like, okay, they've got some good values here. This person can really apply this on this role in particular. So those phone screens are absolutely critical to have. And I feel as though I place a great emphasis on that, making sure that, this person will be a right fit. And then I would come back to that hiring manager with those 8 people and I'd be like, look, I believe these 4 people should be put forward, 3 people per se, if I need to cut it down really bad.
Yeah.
And then we should go into interviews. My hiring manager, each hiring manager, holds a different relationship. So I kind of work with that manager to see what they're after. And once I find that person within those shortlisted candidates, my hiring manager's got the utmost trust in me to make those calls. So once I bring those people in for interviews, again, it kind of just happens from there. And we go into the process and then, go from there. But there's always a long list and a short list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have thought even that phone screen number might be higher. I think in jobs gone by where I've gone to, from Western to TGIs or AFL to Western, I would have always thought at interview stage, maybe it's 8 to 10 or something. And then maybe then the final stage is 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then phone screens maybe up to 15, 20. But I mean, I also acknowledge that probably not a realization everyone gets is you guys haven't got a million hours in the day.
And that's the thing.
And you have a job to do outside of recruitment.
Yeah.
So.
And you hit the nail on the head. That's the point. because we don't have so much time in our day, like I really have to make a really big call. And like, say for instance, I'm not like loving everybody within those 8, I'll go back to that long list and be like, hey, maybe this person will be great.
Yeah, okay.
So again, it is about like, again, people are very different when they're on paper to in person. So it's always good to have that phone screen in the initial stages. Absolutely.
Do you have a rough percentage you could ballpark of like people that get jobs through someone's internally or a friend outside of the company has gone, give them a chance, not even being the last reference, but give them a chance versus those who have got jobs with the Dees that are purely just like no one knows who they are, but they get a job?
Good. I reckon I'd say about 30%. I reckon is probably give or take around internal references. I reckon.
Yeah.
Maybe even less actually. Probably 20%. I'll say 20%. That's
Okay.
actually a big jump actually, but
That's right.
it's probably around 20% because you know, we value our staff and we value what they say. So if, for instance, they know somebody, I'll give you a story.
Okay.
So
I know you gave a reference to another club with Steph before.
yes, that's the story I was going to tell.
Oh, well, you can tell a story.
So, yeah, effectively, like, you know, I had worked with this person for X amount of years, exceptional at what she does. A role had come up for an opportunity at the Hawks, and, you know, my contact had reached out to me and she said, you know, what do you think? Should I apply for this? I looked at the job description and I was like, absolutely, you would fit this role perfectly, and there's room for you to grow in this role. So with that, I actually had contacted Hawthorn and I had said, look, I really think this person, you know, I've worked with this person before, exceptional what she does. I'm going to give it to you. I've already contacted my contact to say that, you know, it's okay for you to have her resume on file. What you do with it next is up to you entirely.
Is this because you have a pre-existing relationship with someone in HR?
Yes, exactly.
Hawks,
so at Hawks, yep. So I've got a existing relationship with them. So, and it's a really good like relationship too. It's a really trusting relationship that we have. And funnily, and like I'll say this out to everybody, all clubs talk. All clubs talk to each other. All HR people talk to each other. So don't think just because we are like from different oppositions, we all talk to each other.
Yeah, I always have a lot of admiration about that.
Yeah.
How everyone does work together, I feel, as well. Look, I think a lot of people that have worked in soccer know that we all sort of fight. When
Absolutely.
I was in Western, it's like you're forced to not even like someone at Victory or City when it's like they're still just a good friend or whatever.
Exactly.
But that's good to hear though, and I guess again the mention of referencing and knowing people that just because you're not at the same club doesn't mean someone won't vouch for you somewhere else.
No, that's right. And she got the job, so that's what the best thing was. So, but I think it's really important to like again, it's all about your networks too. So,
do you have like a favorite interview question, resume, or cover letter that stands out from your time?
Some sounding advice: when you write your cover letter, don't use ChatGPT because not even funny anymore. Like it actually all sounds the same. So I always say don't use ChatGPT. Like use it in the sense of like build out your own kind of like keys and responsibilities that you do. Maybe ask ChatGPT to put it into a structured sentence or a structured paragraph, but like try and use your own type of language because it's evident when you come in like and the way that you're not articulating things, it definitely resonates with that. So definitely try not to do that, but also don't apply for multiple positions at a club when it doesn't suit your skill set. I find that sometimes it'd be one person in particular, he would apply or she would apply for multiple roles. And obviously, you know, there comes a point where it's like you reach out to that person and you're like, and you have to have that conversation, be like, look, I think your skill set is matched to this role. Unfortunately, we don't have these roles available at the moment, but in future, we would love to store your stuff on file. So I think it's just about that, like understanding your like where you want to work and your desire to work in that space, but not oversupplying your resume across multiple different roles.
Yeah. And the do's?
The do's.
Two things that
absolutely
definitely do this.
I always like your resume to be structured. So the do's, make sure that your kind of like your jobs have all starting from like your recent and current job. So make sure you always do that. I always like seeing someone's first and making it reference to the role that you're applying for as well. So having the job that you currently hold and then working your way back through that, you're backwards. But again, tailoring it to like the role that you're applying for. I absolutely love when I see something that's like super clean and super crisp, because it's just easy to read as well.
Yeah.
I also love seeing like, I think because with me, if I look at a resume and I don't see your name, your phone number, your email address, or your location of where you are,
Yeah.
if I don't see it within the first 5 seconds, I'm like, oh, you've lost me. Like, you've really lost me. So I need to see who I'm looking at in order for me to make a judgment.
And that's a pretty big deal breaker.
Yeah.
Like you can have a
I've
great
got 5
resume,
seconds.
but if you don't even put your name, mobile, and email.
Yeah, and I've had people do it before, and I'm like, oh gosh, like I got 5 seconds. I got 5 seconds for you to make that decision for me. So, I'd recommend doing that as much as possible.
Yeah. Do you do any like Control F, find a word that you're looking for? Like I've heard that in years gone by with some applications I did, and it's like, we're looking for this, but you didn't have it, and you still got through, or we're looking for this, but you didn't have it, and that's why you didn't get through.
No, not necessarily. I
No?
don't do that.
Okay.
No. I read everything. Like,
Yeah.
my eyes get tired, but I read everything. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Leaving the HR side
Yes.
now, I just wanted to speak about one of the answers you gave to me was some of the challenges being a female in the industry.
Yes.
Do you want to maybe speak to some of the challenges you've experienced and I suppose collectively,
Yeah.
some advice for people coming through as well?
Yeah. So I guess the challenges of being a female in like heavy male dominated industries. I think the challenges that I faced was not being like accepted, but also not having my voice heard and really just being shunned to the dark. I found that was through Football Victoria. And I guess it was in a nice way. It was very political at Football Victoria, but I felt that as time went on, people, again, it's all about building trust, right? And building trust with your members too, and that's the most important part. So that's where I really worked on trying to build that. So if there's any advice that I can give anybody, like coming into like a male-dominated industry, it's always building trust. Like it takes a long time to build that, but once you have it, you really can, create such a great environment for yourself as well as the person you're building that with. So I found that my voice wasn't being heard, but the great thing about being at the Dees was that they really shine a spotlight on female in sport. So, and working with the AFL as well, they really put a big emphasis on ensuring that we have leadership courses for women. We have next generation courses for female in sport. There's a lot of like training and development for women, just so they can get that exposure. Not to say that Football Victoria didn't offer that to me at the time, but I feel as though I think just with the game that is the AFLW, it's really becoming like a big thing, and they've really evolved over the years. And again, that's with the Matildas, they've evolved, and it's really just about shining spotlight on women in sport more like broadly, because there was one thing that one person had said to me, and it was, you can't be what you can't see. So I think that that's a really important part in trying to get women in sport, making sure you shine a spotlight on them.
Some role models and people
absolutely.
to aspire to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you were on an article last year or year before with Melbourne, and then
Yes.
I was just looking at your name. For like,
Yeah.
what other things
Oh,
could I
how
find?
embarrassing.
What could I find on Steph? And then, it was like, I think they profiled 6 of you.
Yeah.
And it was like a deep dive into what you do and I suppose who inspires you at the club as well. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
And again, speaking of just like Steph, our friend, I saw they put up an International Women's Day.
Yes.
And they were shouting at all the staff, and I think it's awesome.
It is, and it really breaks that barrier. All starting to, like, we're just really scratching the surface with all of that. I think it's a much bigger piece in itself, but I think organisations as well as sporting industries are doing bigger things to ensure that women are accepted in sports.
Love it. Speaking more generally, challenges in the industry, what do you think are some of the challenges you faced breaking into sport in the first place?
Rejection after rejection. I'll give you a little snippet. Me, like, volunteering in Football Victoria, I was volunteering. Me applying for roles at Football Victoria, I got rejected 3 times before I got my Summer Sevens coordinator role. So,
wow.
And again, the roles that I were applying for were all community participation related. I think what they had seen in me after giving me that role was just like all I needed was a bit of like guidance and leadership and more experience. So again, like that's why I got rejected 3 times before joining in as a casual. So I love.
That's disheartening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's disheartening. It's deflating. I had so much self-doubt about myself. I just thought, again, like women breaking into sport, it's just never going to happen for me. And I really made a great connection with, and I'll say this person's name, Maddie Fox. Maddie Fox just changed my whole life in the sense of being in sports, because that was the one person that gave me the most honest feedback in all of my interviews, like post-interviews. Gave me all my honest feedback, but as well made me try different things. Really saw something in me that was like going to be a benefit to me in landing my Summer Sevens coordinator role. And I'll also let you know that I actually wasn't successful being in the Summer Sevens coordinator role. So I wasn't successful in that. And it wasn't until there was more availability for more venues to be opened up that they reached out and said, actually, we'd really love you to be part of the program. So I think with that, I think just your eagerness is really there, and like if you do it in the right way, you will get recognised for it. Yeah. So I guess that was one person that really believed in the work that I was trying to do, and again, I was there for 7 years at Football Vic. So I think believing is like the most thing.
Yeah, definitely very relatable for many people. Career direction wise, and I think there's probably a yes to this answer, but have you ever felt stuck or lost? And how did you decide to take the path that you've taken now?
Yeah, so again, being in that MiniRoos space, once I got that full-time job in MiniRoos Development Officer, I was there for 3 years. My role kind of just felt flat. There was no progression. I just felt bored by the role. I was doing it at a level where I was executing all of my KPIs probably a little bit too much. And then I kind of had a chat with my manager at the time, and I kind of expressed my desire to really learn more, and he kind of advised me to, how about we looking in other different departments, getting yourself exposed to the business on a wider scheme. So I think with that, again, in his full support, he allowed me to do that. I got to dabble into like some competitions, some fixturing. We got to dabble into like referees, how we get them on board, how do we do their training. I got to work on a bunch of different other stuff through like some sponsorship and partnerships related stuff. So I really tried to like dabble in as much as I could and support any team possible.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until there was a shift in CEO that came through that the HR manager that she kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and she kind of identified opportunities in me to work in that HR, legal and administrative support space. So that's where I was, and my manager, he was like, you should take this. He goes, this will be really good for you. I kind of had that imposter syndrome where I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I'm going to do this role, but I don't know if I can do it. But that HR manager, she had full belief in me, as well as all the other team members that I was reporting into. They had full faith in me and said, you can do this and we're going to support you. And then I ended up running all of HR. So, credit to them. Yeah. So again, there is an element of where you'll feel lost and the unknown is there. But I think if you make a conscious effort to try and branch out your knowledge, you'll really succeed wherever you go. So, yeah.
Making in sport, when you've landed your jobs through the course of your career, how do you think you've stood out more than others?
I think just being authentic to yourself, being authentic, being honest, and just ensuring that your approach is really humble. I think I've always kind of lived by that. Everyone wants to, use their passion to get into what they want to get into. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But I think for me, most importantly, I think it was just being authentic in my interview processes, showing my values, showing how they can really align with the business, and just being really humble about everything that you do, but also building great connections. I felt like that was always my thing that I could do. So, yeah.
Love it. Very good. We like talking about mentors and influences on careers. I know you mentioned a couple of names, but who have been some of the biggest mentors for you so far in your career?
Yeah, so I've got I like to say that I've got a board of people that I have influenced my life. So I was actually given this advice through a learning development opportunity that I had. So it was to create your own board. So there were people that I put on my board that I like to go to if ever I need anything. And they offered different things to me as well. So I know in the HR space, more recently than anything has been Jess Vanderlack. She's been like the driving force behind my career to date. Like always had a sense of belief in like my work that I do. So I feel as though she really amplified my role to what it is now and making sure that I was elevating my role as much as possible. So yeah, it's been Jess Vanderlack most importantly. But I also had people during Football Victoria time, again, Maddie Fox, who I talk about, had real sense of belief in me, really pushed me to beyond my limits, and just really believed in me. And then I had Nina as a party, that person at HR that kind of tapped me on that shoulder. She works at Beyond Blue, and she's an incredible mentor, and I kind of go back to her for everything I need, anything, just to get a bit of a sense check. And then I guess another one that I always talk about, and he's very well known at Melbourne prior to his years, was Matt Green. So Matt Green is someone I learnt a lot of, and he's someone that shows a lot of vulnerability in his leadership, and I guess I really loved that. And I think from there I've been able to take that into my everyday kind of like work. So he's been one of the great ones. And then lastly, Em Fitzpatrick that works at MCC. So she's an executive there, and she just brings on a wealth of knowledge. She's the one that gave me my book on like Dare to Lead. So those are the ones that I really that stand out to me.
I like the analogy as well of the board. I thought I've heard it before, but maybe you said it when I was with you on that panel.
Yeah, I reckon I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's a very good
one.
one.
To everyone. Yeah, because you build a board around you because you need your cheerleader. You need someone that's going to be there to give
It's
you
like how most
advice.
companies have a board.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like the board of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah, sorry. Someone gave me that advice. I've taken it, and those are the people that sit around my board at the moment.
Very good. Very good. Just want to speak about like why you enjoy giving back to people coming through. I know we've mentioned like you on a panel with the Deakin Sports Society. You mentioned too before that you did an online webinar for sports grad members a while back. Yeah, I suppose why do you value your time giving back to those people?
Yeah, like I've been in the shoes of everyone that's trying to get into sports, and I feel it's such an important thing to do, to give back, because their experiences can really resonate with you as well, and you can provide that honest and you can provide that type of guidance that they would need. So I feel as though it's incredibly important. And again, I reiterate this a lot, but I enjoy like connecting with people, and if people like touch base with me on LinkedIn, like it's a great kind of form of like, you know, that foundation that you build and really getting to know somebody. So if there's an opportunity for me to provide any advice to people, I'm completely open to it, because I've been in their shoes before, and I've been through the rejections, and I've been through the self-doubts and like not wanting or not feeling like you're good enough. So that's why I always think back, and I always reflect back on that, and I think it's something that I've always wanted to do. Yeah.
I know you're not a mentor of the sports grad program, but we might have to get you on. A few ones to wrap up. If you had to go back in time and someone said, "I'll give you $1 million if you can land a job working in sport in the next 30 days," what would you do?
I think your network is your biggest piece. Like create that network of people that you work with or people that you really want to work with. Gosh, it's a really hard question to ask, actually. Oh. Gosh, I think, building a network around you, creating a podcast to have like all the information and tips and tricks that you need to know, but also just in your approach to things, spend the money on, I don't know, making connections, I reckon.
Yeah. No.
Investing in all the relationships that you have.
Not sound advice. Biggest pinch me moment working in sport?
Pinch me moment. I think that would be the AFLW Premiership that we won in 2022. That was kind of like my first year coming into the club, and we had a working group. So AFLW working group. So throughout that year, we would catch up weekly. We'd kind of like work out, what we're wanting to do for this round, ticketing information, membership information. We would work around it. Like, again, each different person from each department would come together. We'd have like this huge whip. And again, it would be like ticketing, marketing, socials, what we would want to do for that week. And I came in as like a people person, like how do we integrate AFLW into our, or how do we integrate that into our people in the business side? So, I organised trainings like for staff to jump in on training sessions with all the players. They can do like some off-leg sessions, which means they get on some bikes and they start doing rowing machines and they kind of work out as if they are an AFLW player.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling out all those initiatives. So part of that, from that working group, we all got the opportunity to fly over to Brizzy. We were underdogs, rated highly as underdogs in that grand final. And I just remember like it was the dying seconds and Kate Hall took a mark just to like really slow it down. And we ended up winning. And I think I was over the moon because I'm like, this is insane. Like, is this going to be every year? Because I'm like, I want it to be every year because this is the celebrations. And I think it's just the effort that everyone puts in and like that common goal at the end of it just really.
It's the peak of working at Clubland.
100%. Totally agree. Yeah. So I think that would be like my little pinch me moment because I'm holding onto a cup and I'm like, oh my God, this is ours. Like, so that's one of the ones I love to talk about.
Yeah, you can't beat those kind of stuff.
No,
I was the same at Western. Yeah. It's like
you would have been,
3 months in. It's like, wow, this is so cool.
Is this what's going to be like every year?
Yeah.
So.
But I always say that some players don't even get a chance to do that. So
No.
as an administrator, you may never get the chance again. So you have to enjoy it when it happens.
Yeah, and we enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
That's good. What do you think? I know you've been to a few different studies, but what do you think life would look like if you hadn't pursued a career in sport?
Again, very left of field areas that I'd work in. Either marine biologist.
Another degree.
Marine biologist, or a forensic investigator.
Wow.
Very left of field. Like, so left of field to like the sports where I love. But again, it's laughable. Like, but I think
They're all hypotheticals.
Yeah, exactly. All hypotheticals, right?
Yeah.
But they would be the fields that I'd love to work in. Yeah.
Very niche. Like it.
Yeah.
And the last one is the question from our last guest, so Chris Grant. He said, describe what a perfect day at work looks like for you.
A perfect day. Well, Chris, it would be about winning premierships. That would be my perfect day. No. That's silly. I think like when you have like the perfect person getting into a role, like we've like identified someone that has been really fit for a role and they're coming in, we've signed them up, I've chatted to them over the phone and I'm like, it's such a good day. Like it's such a good day to have this news, to give this news to somebody. Like I love doing those. Although the hiring managers do that, but like I love doing that follow-up call. So I think that's kind of like my perfect day, just having someone get a job that they really wanted to do, breaking into sports. I really love that. That's my perfect day. That's very, very blasé, but it's a
key part of your role too. And I imagine that those calls and those conversations, like the best part of probably making someone's day working in HR.
Yeah. And again, it's always about, I always think about others. I don't really think about me in a sense, but I think making someone else's day for me just really makes me feel good inside. Yeah.
And the last one is for you. So what is a question you would like to leave for the next guest coming up on the podcast?
How would you spotlight a female in sport?
Very good.
It's really important.
And topical for the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to hearing what they have to say.
Thank you.
You have to tune in.
You.
Well, that's all from me, Steph. Like I said, thank you again for coming in. Enjoyed catching up and enjoyed hearing about all the little insights and do's and don'ts like we spoke about for the hiring process. I think it's something we always try to find out and hear rumours and best practices from Rubes and everything that we do at SportsGrad, but I think hearing it from the source is really valuable. So thank you again, and maybe we'll see you around the SportsGrad traps in the future.